the critters are very unique as far as PFPs are concerned. Why are they so unique? Why are they so varied and different from almost every other collection you see? That's not subjective. There's a reason for it. And as usual, all credit to RGB for the work that he put in there, because ultimately the answer is that he did a lot of work as an artist. That's the answer to why they're so unique. Let me give you just a little bit of background here and context. So Bored Apes, I'm not going to harp on them because they're as OG as, NFTs get. So stakes were low. But 10K collection, 170 traits, that is not a lot of traits. And maybe more importantly, the rare boys, the expensive guys, what are we looking at? Like, it's trait vomit. It is what it is. Became infamous. And I want to show an example of a project that is also, fairly old in the tooth, but made great progress, right? When they came out, Catalina Whales, now known as The Whales, I held one of these, so this is not throwing any shade at all. But Catalina Whales, half the collection size of Bored Apes, more traits. So you can see where that's going, right? Like, you can get a lot more variety, a lot more interesting stuff going on, a lot more personality in them. You still get to a point where there's high potential for trait vomit, right? Something like this or something like this is, hit or miss. And you really got to be bought into the culture to love, some of these faces, right? And again, that's nothing against Catalina Whales. This was, if I remember correctly, December 2021. So still fairly early in the NFT game. And they really knocked it out of the park with how many traits they were able to put out there. Now I'll transition over to critters, but I want to show you something first. Notice that in both Bored Apes and the Whales, the creatures as a trait are the same creature. They just basically change the colors or the skins, right? Same thing here. You're just getting different colors unless you happen to get the oil slick skin or something like that. By comparison, Catalina Whales, 16 body types. The body types are the same whale in 16 different colorways, right? Critters, 16 different body types. Those 16 body types are 16 different creatures. So we go down here, we're going to our trusty Critters Cult library, which I've got a video on. All these creatures, right? All different creatures. Not only different visually, different as far as their background and their context and all of the lore that goes on here. This is, of course, to say nothing of the legendary critters, of which there are 44, and a lot of them are just totally different from anything that exists in the offering of the standard critter collection. So 44 very own legendary critters, 16 different types of critter creatures to choose from. That's a start. Now, what happens on top of that is that RGB didn't really go for traits per se, other than the relic. That said, what is he doing with all of these? You'd think that maybe these are, individual traits on these characters. For the most part, other than the occasional, hat, this mask, for the most part, no. These are the full bodies. That's the garb that this particular creature is wearing. That is their trait. So what he did, instead of saying, okay, you can get, laser eyes, rainbow teeth, something, ears, something, this, that, he said, no, instead, I'm going to make a ton of outfits, like actual outfits, fits that are specific, and I'm just going to make a lot of them. So by comparison, Critters Cult has 109 outfits as traits. Catalina Whales, again, by comparison, and no shade, because they have a ton, 55. So that's how you get this kind of look. And not only that, but the outfits themselves, and then any traits that might fall on top of them, like this, for instance, this guy right here, the Buccaneer garb, which is the outfit, and then the copper helmet. Those are actually two different traits. So you can have someone who has the Buccaneer garb and no helmet, right? However, what you can't have is someone who has the Buccaneer garb, which is from a specific realm, which I'll show in a second, and then a hat from a different realm. So let's go back to the library. The realms, and this is actually where you'll also see Sun Saga as the later banner collection pop up. The realms are the lands in which the critters live, and not only the lands, but the times in which they live. So you get all the context here around something like the myth realm. In the myth realm, which is, olden times, think of, old fantastic lands pre electricity, you're going to have, freaking fruit hats and shit like that, right? Hey, there's me. You're going to get critters that represent the time and the place in which they exist. And so the point is, RGB went ahead and put together trait sets that cannot be bad. You can't be a critter who has a myth realm outfit and then get a cyber realm hat or something like that, right? You're going to get the combination of traits that is relevant to the time and place in which you live, and RGB's already cordoned off those groupings so that they have to exist with each other. And again, the way he did that so that it would work and still have a lot of variety is that he just made a shit ton of things, and they're all beautiful, of course, a lot of them very original. The relics are also excellent. We've all seen this stuff, we all liked it, but all that context is just what I wanted to put out there so that everyone understands, this is how you get that kind of result and that uniqueness from the critters that's so signature.